Welcome back to the Papa Show Knows podcast. We're back this week to talk some baseball, get a little insight on the Royals and Cardinals, kind of just going over what's been going on here in the month of June, as well as, where we think the teams are going to go. I guess mainly the Royals. We got Bryce rejoining the podcast as well this week as we get you caught up on a little Sunday morning baseball and a little bit more talk just on the Royals, kind of where they're going to go from here. An update on Wilson Contreras as well for the Cardinals, and just kind of a discussion about the new rules and, kind of where we're at in 2024, the state of baseball. So if you enjoy the pod, make sure you hit that like button and smash the subscribe. Again, we're trying to get to 100 subscribers before the season starts for the 2024 NFL season. So again, if you enjoy the pod, I'd really enjoy if you smash that subscribe button. Again, hit the like on this baseball pod, because kind of trying to run this every week to get some baseball in as well. The pod and YouTube channel have been very dominated by the Chiefs, but even last week saw the MMA pod did pretty good numbers, so you guys are enjoying that. If you guys are enjoying the baseball content as well, just make sure you hit that like button and let me know so we can keep it rolling. So without further ado, let's get into me and Bryce's conversation. We got Bryce stopping by the pod again today, talk a little bit of baseball and just get into a little bit of Cardinals, Royals mainly, and got a few other topics to discuss. But how you been doing, big dog?
Man, I've been doing good. Yeah, just thanks for having me on again. And yeah, excited to talk some baseball.
Yes, sir. So we'll just jump straight into kind of what's been going on more recently. Had both of their schedules pulled up. I'll go ahead and start with we'll start with the Cardinals, and we'll work our way to the Royals. Get more into conversation. So far, June has not been kind to the Cardinals. 3-5, I want to say I counted up earlier in June so far. Been real hit and miss for the Cardinals. Heading into the last few weeks of the season, they really heated up for a minute. Right there towards the middle of May, I want to say, and then kind of tapered off there at the end. The Phillies, that was the series heading into the end of May, moving into June, that I feel like kind of set the tone so far. Houston was not kind to the Cardinals either. A couple of games that were really tough, really close. They had that lead late on Monday night. Jojo Romero kind of blows that, but it was kind of on Ollie as well, leaving him in the game. It was kind of, I don't know. I didn't really love that decision. It's been real up and down though, as the Cardinals head into this final um, game of the series against the Rockies today.
So, no, I think thing with the Cardinals, I feel like there's still some growing to do. And good thing there is, like, there's still some season left. So what do we have, like 97, something like that, games left
Yeah.
in the season. So I mean, there's some things I was like, it's more of like, let's see where everybody's at, come end of July, August, but I wouldn't count them out yet.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I also agree with that.
Who,
Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, is it Daniel Carlson? Is that who it
Dylan
is?
Carlson.
Dylan Carlson. Yeah, I was like, that kid, man, that guy's nice.
Yeah, he had a big
So,
night the other night. I've definitely been pretty big on Dylan Carlson since he came up. That was 2021, I want to say, was his first year.
mhm.
But yeah, I mean he's solid guy in the lineup and still has some growing to do. I think you're right. Team just has a lot of growing to do and kind of maneuvering around. If it's not one thing, it's the other with Cardinals right now. If it's not the pitching, it's the offense. If it's not the offense, it's the pitching. So, but good news is Wilson Contreras has been cleared for baseball activities just 4 short weeks after his surgery, after that nasty hit that he took to the arm against JD Martinez, or from JD Martinez in a game against the Mets in St. Louis. And we talked about that one a couple weeks ago on the podcast when you were first on. So crazy to see that quick of a turnaround with as bad as that looked, breaking his forearm there.
Mhm.
So then we're
Yeah, I
just
feel
waiting
like
for the Cardinals to get back.
yeah, we talked about that a little bit, like just the I think what was it, kind of dissecting the whole interference situation and kind of like just maybe the mental aspect of it. But yeah, no, it's good to see that his recovery has been, on a good point, and should be back soon. Then.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. Meanwhile, on here in Kansas City, you have about the exact opposite with a team that is 4-2 right now. In the month of June. I don't know why I forgot what month we're in
Mm.
right now, but one rain out, I'm guessing, at Cleveland.
Yeah, that one. I was curious if they were going to play a double, to
It says
finish
they'll
the
make it up
series.
August 26th.
Okay, yeah. So
So that'll
no, that's
give
cool.
that'll give a later season matchup, even more meaning later into the season. Yeah, August 26th, they'll play a doubleheader at 12:10 p.m. in Cleveland and then a 5:40 start time later on in the day. And that's a Monday.
I was going to say there'd be a lot of baseball in like 2 3 days, starting a whole nother series right after. So it makes sense.
Also, the start times on
But
the doubleheaders. I know we talked about that off the
yeah,
record. I don't know if we actually talked about this on the pod, but um, some of these doubleheaders are crazy. It's like you don't even have enough time to, get fans out of the stadium, get the new fans in. It seems like, I mean, 12:10
mhm.
and 5:40. I mean, that's a little bit of a separation, but I think it was the Royals earlier this year that played like a 12 o'clock start and then like a 4 o'clock start. It's like, damn,
Yeah. I was
how
trying to.
that's so quick, and it's like, I was thinking that day they had a night game because I knew they had a doubleheader,
Mm,
and then I looked at it around like 7 o'clock, and it's like, oh, they already played both games. I'm like, how?
mm, yeah, yeah. I won't lie. I was like, even today, I kind of forgot like the start time was earlier today. I
Mhm.
don't know why, but like, yeah, I was only able to catch the back half of it. But I don't know. Some of these games, I was like, I forgot. Like, you really got to look at the schedule sometimes because I was like, they do have some odd start times, which is interesting. But I think who was it? The doubleheader was like, wasn't against like shoot, was it the White Sox? I don't even know. White Sox maybe. It was somebody random, and I was like, we won't play the Guardians, but we'll play the one random doubleheader before.
Yeah,
So
that was the White Sox. That was back on April 17th that they did that
yeah,
doubleheader
I was gonna
in
say
Chicago.
yeah. So I don't know. I would have rather personally like played the doubleheader against the Guardians. I don't know. That's just
Yeah.
the pride and the competitiveness in me with them right now. But yeah, I don't know. It's
No,
all
that's a
good.
fact, and that was leads right into what I wanted to ask you and what your take on this. Right now, the Royals 3 games out of first place with the Cleveland Guardians, who are in first at the moment. They split the series with the one being postponed, of course.
Yeah.
Do the Royals have a legitimate chance to knock off the Cleveland Guardians?
Personally, yeah. I mean, in my personal opinion, and I don't really like to just put mine out. I'd rather be fair weather and just be, you know, give you the facts. But like I think we can. But I don't think a lot of teams right now are really you can't just say, right now in this time that like anybody's gonna make the playoffs. Because it's like we still have like a whole another half of the season left. So, I think it's one of those things where like the expectation is playoffs and like divisional champs, but like can we be can we be like disappointed if we don't make the playoffs and still see this as a good season despite what happened last? So
I do think when it comes to right now, I think if the Royals don't make the playoffs, I don't want to say it'd be a complete disappointment. But it would be a
yeah,
little bit of a letdown because of where the Royals are at right now. And that is in second place in the AL wild card. So as of right
no doubt.
now, they would be in the playoffs. So the playoffs started today. And they're 5.5
Yeah,
games ahead of the Twins, who are the next team. So right now it looks very good. I mean, they're 3 games back of the Guardians in first place, but just based on these first 2 months, 2.5 ish, or I guess 2 and a week, of the season, you think that the Royals do have a legitimate chance of knocking off the Guardians?
yeah. No, it's nice to be able to like kind of look into that and be proud of where we are right now. But it's realistic. I think it comes down to it though. I was like, pitching is going to be a big thing, especially on the second half of it. I was like, there can be good starters in each within each club, but how they maintain the last half, and then I feel like you're relieving your second and third, your closing and all that. I was like, relief pitching is going to be everything once again. But
I agree with you. I think
yeah,
pitching. I think
I
pitching
don't.
will be, a big thing. Sorry to
Yeah,
cut you off, but
no, you're fine.
yeah, just because the run differential. When you look at the run differential between the two, you've got the Guardians at plus 87, and you got the Royals at plus 77. So they're both very good run differentials. But this is the one key thing I think in the splits. Just looking at this is a couple of things. On the road, the Royals struggle, 15 and 16 on the road, which they're hovering right around 500. That's not bad. But also against teams that are over 500, the Royals are 11 and 15 against. So they do have a losing record against teams that are better than 500.
Yeah,
So I think that'll be a little bit tough. The Guardians are 10 and 6 against teams over 500. They're pretty even home and away, 21 and 8 at home, 20 and 14 on the road. And then the Royals are 24 and 10 at home. So I think that's all,
yeah,
that's great. You got to win the home games, right? You got to win those games. And I
yeah,
think as long as they stay around even against teams that are above 500, I think they definitely have a legitimate chance to be right there, at least at the end. I mean, the Guardians, my uncle had asked me when I saw him over the weekend last week if the Royals were in first place, and he, basically was like, it seems like they have to be in first place the way they're winning. And I was like, yeah. And I looked it up and seen the Guardians still like 4 or 5 games at the time in first place. And I was like, man, I
hmm
didn't realize how good the Guardians were. 41 and 22 right now. I mean, that
yeah.
is well, what, 19 games over 500. I mean, that's they're playing really good baseball right now. So
I will say because like I really don't pay attention to like some of the uh division teams like during the season just because it's just like that competitive in me. Like it's just like nah, I don't give a shit. You know, I just want to like focus on what we got going right now, keep it going. But like yeah, after watching them this past weekend, I was like, yeah, the Guardians, they honestly are like they have a sleeper team. Like they
yeah,
don't have a whole bunch of like, you know, big names or anything like that, but like each one of them, I was like, I see a good camaraderie in that ball club, and I didn't see it before because I was like, how are the Guardians so good sometimes? Like, what is the whole thing, the mantra or whatever? It's like, but then I saw it, so I'll give them credit. That's coming from Rose fan. I was like, I won't sit here and talk about him, but there's possibilities.
yeah, no, that's a fact. So the another thing that I wanted to bring up that I saw from WTF stats was the fact that there's only four MLB teams in the National League right now with a winning record.
hmm
In the
Is
AL
it four? I
Central,
was
in the AL Central, there's four teams with a winning record.
yeah, I
So
did see
just
that.
alone in the Royals division, I mean, the Royals very easily could be, if things go, south, could very easily fall down the cards very quick. And you got Scooble that's like pitching his ass off right now for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Tigers. So there's still solid teams other than the White Sox. That whole division is good right now. So
yeah,
but no, I just wanted to get your take on that and just see where your headspace was with the Guardians, just because I've been surprised. I haven't watched them play much this year, so I was just surprised when I saw how good they were, and just the AL
yeah.
in general right now is really, really good. At the top of the AL, you've got 45 and 21 Yankees, the 41 and 21 or 22 Guardians, and 36 and 30 Mariners, and
hmm
then even at the wild card. I mean, the Orioles are 41 and 22, looking at the Orioles in second place to the Yankees. In every other division, they'd be at least tied or in first place other than the AL East. And the AL East
Yeah.
has the Phillies, which I also didn't realize how damn good the Phillies are this year. 45 and 19.
Yeah,
They have the best record in baseball as of
yeah,
right now.
yeah, yeah.
And I
They
mean, the
are.
Cardinals got torched by them last weekend. So, I mean, we took one game, so I'll take it. Took one game.
Okay,
But
okay.
that's
Hey,
been like the Achilles heel for the Cardinals, it seems like the last year or so is the Phillies, the last couple of years.
I feel like each team has to go through that test. Like, let's bring the best team eventually. Like everybody, you know what I mean? But no, I don't blame you. I was like, because this stretch right now is just like kind of similar to me. It's like, you got the West Coast powerhouses, and then you got the East Coast powerhouse. It's like, so I feel like, in a sense, like in both, it's like each team needs to have this test because it's like this is kind of like what, regardless of who you know what I'm saying, what team, it's like this is like the, I don't know, what would it be? The test to prove moving forward towards the All Star break.
Who is?
Like just having just like that certain stretch, like no matter
Oh
what team it
yeah.
is, it's like, you know what I mean? Like the Padres, we got the Padres, Mariners, Yankees, and Dodgers. It's like I feel like each team's got to go through like a couple struggle periods to really find who they are.
No, that's a fact. And with the season, you play 162 games over the summer, like you're gonna have your stretches. Just like every player is gonna have their stretches of their slumps and the highs and lows of an MLB
Yeah,
season. I mean, it's a marathon, right? It's not a sprint when it comes to the MLB season. So
right. Very true. Yeah, I was gonna say that was one thing I wanted to bring up was that you said along just like the season. I feel like we all kind of grown accustomed to and everything. They were talking about what do you think about them shortening the season? Like in a sense of like there we play, how you got football at 17, they're dominating all the media, and then you got basketball, baseball, all these all these other sports afterwards. I was like, what if 86 games in basketball? I was like, what if they maybe did something like that in baseball, or they split the season with like 80 and 80? What would you think about like changing the game in that sense, shortening a season?
like how they do in the minor leagues, how they cut the season off
Yeah,
halfway.
in a sense, it would be kind of odd, but
Yeah, because I know
you know,
I don't know if they do it in every, stretch of the minors, but I do know pretty sure in Triple A is how they do it, is where they have a first
yeah,
half and then the winner is I think automatically gets a playoff spot or something like that of the first half. Then the standings restart in the second half of the season and you basically go from, like a brand new. Was that kind of what you mean
yeah.
or
Just
I
in general, just in
or
any
just
way to
shortening in
change that.
general, just straight up
Yeah,
shortening.
yeah, just in general.
I personally don't like shortening the season. Maybe by a little bit, maybe to give the
Yeah,
guys a few more off days here and there. But I think as a whole, like just the way that baseball is integrated in the way that everything goes, right? You're playing 6 or 7 games a week. You're playing every day almost, right? And maybe those
yeah,
random weeks where you play five, you get a Monday and a Thursday off. But off days typically are either Monday or Thursday in the MLB. And you have your weekend series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you maybe a 4 game set Thursday through Sunday, you got your Monday through Thursday or Monday through Wednesday, or however. I'm getting too nuanced in this. But I just think the way it's integrated because you just think about like I don't know, even just like regular guys like us that on a random whim, like, hey, let's go to a ball game on, a Sunday afternoon or a Saturday night or, something like that. Or the random family that's like, what do we do this weekend? Oh, let's go catch a ball game. We got Royals tickets for $10,
yeah,
this weekend or, during the week or something. You don't have anything to do. You're off work. You got your kid. There's a game at 1:10 on a Thursday afternoon. Let's go watch the Royals play or something like that. So I think for baseball, the longer season helps and hurts. I think when it comes to I don't know if lessening up would make more people attend like singular games because I think right now it almost promotes where it's easier for anybody to go on any given day. And then just the marathon of the schedule is just, it's just how it's been forever. The only argument I could see on the other side that I would kind of like is pitching. And the way pitching has been in the last few years, and you worry about how many days of rest has this guy had? How many pitches did he throw, in his last outing, the outing before that? How many innings has he pitched? All of these things that they look at to control a pitcher's arm and rest. I think that would help greatly in that regard.
Mm,
But then at the same time, do you fluctuate the roster spots? The roster spots went up to 26, a year or two ago. Do you maybe bring it back down, just because you won't even necessarily need as many pitchers on the roster or, role players coming off the bench? I think there's a lot of discussion you could have to that, but what about
yeah.
your take? What do you think?
I don't know. Like the more listening to what you're saying, it's just like it almost sounds like it's just a way to kind of I don't know. I hate to say it just because it's like it sounds negative, but like cut the game off in a sense and just kind of like I don't know, make it more clean and cut almost in a sense. But I, I couldn't see it, but I can understand it because of just the long aspect of a season and how it's just like, a lot of these leagues they depend on just like that time as far as like on TV and everything with short schedules, it's easier to like make more in less time. And I feel like that's just kind of like where the world's going. So it almost feels like they want to speed up baseball, but eventually it might change the game as a whole when it comes to that type of thing.
Yeah, I definitely kind of agree with you on that of just speeding the game up and changing the game. We've seen that over the last couple of years with the rule changes, but just to kind of get back to just the schedule. I mean, I could see it because you're adding more value to the games, if that makes sense. There's
Mm,
only 17
yeah.
games in an NFL season. Every
Yep.
game means a lot. But
Hmm.
then how much do you shorten it? Because even if you shorten it to, okay, let's go to 82, but what basketball plays, right? 82 games. That's you're cutting the season in half. It does
Hmm.
give more rest for the players and, adds more value to the games. But how much more value does that add? I mean, it does add a lot. And I mean, we can go back to the COVID season because I mean, how many games did they play in the COVID season? I think it was like somewhere from like 30 to 50 in that range. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head
Yeah.
how many games
It
were actually played that year.
was wild.
But yeah, it was definitely a wild time. But so in that regard, I do kind of agree with you because like that season was crazy. Like it was just every
Hmm.
day it seemed like, anything could happen and, the standings could go whatever way, they may shift. So I don't hate it, but I also don't like it in a sense of just what we've become accustomed to with baseball and really just how I think that that would hinder baseball any more than it would help. Just because,
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of faith. I don't have a lot of faith in MLB with Manfred and everything that they've done over the last couple of years. The Jersey debacle this year, there's just
Horrible.
so many things that's like we could be doing so much better for the sport. And it's almost like they detour you from watching baseball. And like I just recently I don't have cable anymore, like regular cable. And to be able to watch a game, like you can't watch a Royals game on MLB TV. I want to say Bally's is $20 a month. And
Mm, yeah,
then
ridiculous.
right. And then now let's say it's a Friday night and the Royals are playing on Apple TV. Well, now you can't watch it because you got to pay 9.99 a month for Apple TV. Like
Yeah.
what? Oh, and actually now it's Sunday night baseball. The Royals are playing. So the Royals are playing two night games over the weekend. I pay $20 a month for Bally Sports. I think it's like 25 a month or something. Like for the whole year, it's 100 and something for MLB TV. So I've dropped $140 on MLB TV or 135, I think it is. I dropped that. I'm paying $20 a month to Bally's. And there's two games over the weekend I can't watch because I don't pay $10 a month for Apple TV and I don't pay for cable, so I can't watch on ESPN. So now I'm just SOL on two games over the weekend that I want to watch. I can listen to it on the radio. I can watch it on MLB at bat and watch where the pitches are on the strike zone and what's happening, but I can't physically watch the games. Why are you making it so hard for me to watch the team I want to watch? Why? This doesn't make any sense. The NFL is going in the same direction, but at the same time with the
Yeah.
NFL, they can get away with it. They have three
Yeah.
times the audience baseball has. And like not
Yeah.
even to slight baseball or anything, because
Mm-mm.
I mean, me and you are on the same page. We both love baseball and
Yeah.
want to be able to watch
Yeah.
baseball. But let's be real. You can't, yeah, let's be real. You cannot treat baseball the same way football, the NFL treats football. There is
Yeah.
at least three times the amount of people that's going to want to tune into a football game every weekend over watching the
Mhm.
162 game grind of the Royals, Cardinals, whatever your baseball team is. Why are you making it so hard
Yeah.
for me to watch my team?
It like that's the thing I feel like people are is just because of the short. It feels like everybody has just like a short, well, like I don't know what it is, short attention span. So it's like it's easy to tune into more like what however long football. I mean, what maybe 2 hours, 2 hours
Yeah.
to change, whatever. Sometimes I mean, I guess baseball has kind of cut it to that, but it's just
Yes.
like it's just
Well,
always.
and
I think baseball is going to become like like a acquired taste in a sense.
to a point, and I think it is already, but I mean, personally, I feel like that about
Yeah,
basketball for sure. Almost
true,
anything except
true.
football is pretty much, what you like, acquired taste. I mean, you're not going to catch the
Yeah,
same crowd that's watching a football game that's keeping up with Sporting KC or the Current or,
yeah.
baseball or basketball or, anything like that. I think that's more of a niche when it comes to that kind of stuff. But, I think baseball's taking the right path to try. The
Yeah.
City Connects, I think, has been a nice touch. I wish they would do the fan or the, player appreciation weekend like they used to still. I don't know if you remember that, everybody would have kind of crazy looking
Mhm.
jerseys for a weekend and it'd be everybody's nicknames on the back of their jersey instead of the actual name. That was kind of cool for a couple years.
Yeah,
I think that was kind of the feeler for City Connects and kind of see,
yeah,
okay, because, I mean, let's be real. We're on a business side, talking about this essentially, on how to get the game out there more, but also from a revenue standpoint, you create a new jersey for a team, a couple teams a year until you get around all of them. I don't know what their long-term plan is. Like once all 30 teams get a City Connect, do teams start getting new City Connects after that? Or, how do we go about
yeah,
that? Like, like the NBA has done. And I think these sports that have so many games, that's something that they can really kind of cater towards is different jerseys and it gives a different look. It
yeah.
makes it for a different vibe, at the games, but then it also makes more merchandise. And merchandise is
Mhm.
king. You're making more money
Yep.
off of, how many different hats do they have for the Royal City Connect or the Cardinal City Connect? They have the regular one they wear on the field. They have like the backup City Connect logo. They have the one with the fountain on it.
Mhm.
St. Louis has the STL, and then they have the one that's the patch on the side of the jersey with the arch and the STL and the St. Louis
Yeah.
City logo. And, there's just a million things you can do with all of it. New jackets, new polos, new t-shirts, new everything, right? And so you're just making more and more money. And I think that's smart from MLB standpoint, but at the same time, we also, have to get on point of the number one thing is I got to be able to watch it. I gotta be able to watch your
Mhm.
product. Why are you making it so hard for me to watch your product? But like going
Yeah.
back to
I
kind of
know.
the rules, because I did want to mention that too, of just what do you think about shortening the game? Because personally, I love the new rules, honestly. I like the new stolen base rules,
Yeah.
or the rules with the runners, you can
Mhm.
only throw over a couple times. I love I mean, the bases, I don't really see too much of like what that matters. I mean, there was a play tonight with Ellie De La Cruz that I saw where he stole a base, or maybe sometime over this weekend. But he was able to get in there, and probably with the smaller bases, he wouldn't have been able to do that on a head first slide. But shortening the game in a sense of the time, the pitch clock, I mean, I think it's a great idea. I think it's smart, and to be able to get a game in 2.5 hours, I think really helps just baseball in general. More people going to games, more people actually staying and watching games, and all of that, etc.
Mhm. I know there was a topic today. I heard. No, like everything you said. Yeah, there was a topic too. What was it? It's basically. Dang, I kind of forgot what I was going with it. But yeah, if shortening the game, I was like, there's ways. I like the pitch clock. Um, I like all those things that they've added to kind of speed it up. Runner at second. The bigger bases thing, I was kind of curious though. Um, do you think do you think it was to help like more as far as like stolen bases and everything, easy to reach bases? That like it sped up the game, made it more, I don't know, exciting in a sense? Or do you
Yeah.
think it was just yeah, that's what I thought. So
Yeah, I
I mean
agree.
some
And I
of the
mean, the
things are
stolen
cool.
base, that's one of the most exciting plays in baseball. And it was almost dead at that point. And now we're seeing guys really go out there and steal bases again. It's fun.
Right. The shorter fences in certain parks, I was like, I don't know. It just seems like sometimes I was like, they're fishing for a certain audience. But I mean, baseball will always be baseball to me. I don't really care how it's
Yeah, and
played or where
that's
it's played. I love
right.
baseball.
And that's one thing, like, with you saying they're kind of pandering to a certain audience, you have to, right? I think that you have
Yeah,
to just because,
it's true.
just for the simple fact of the casual fan is what's going to get you the money. And that's one thing
Yep.
with, for me personally, I feel like with MMA, I've always been, it's like it's annoying sometimes, but at the same time, like I'm not buying no $80 pay-per-view, but that casual fan that's
Yeah.
dying to see Conor McGregor fight once every, 3 years is gonna pay $80 to watch, McGregor fight or John Jones or, like to pander to, the casual crowd like that. And I think, you have to as any sport.
Yeah. It's kind of wild the price of things like that. Like to watch, certain championships or just, I mean, just like you said, just to watch your own team.
Hmm.
I mean, you mentioned like the price of each one. I was like, it's very true. And it's ridiculous.
And the NFL's going the
I feel
same way.
like,
I mean, if you look at the Chiefs
yeah,
schedule, I think it's like you got to have Netflix, Peacock,
yeah,
YouTube TV. I don't know.
Amazon.
Yeah, you got to have all kinds of stuff to be able to watch every Chiefs game this year.
Yeah, it's wild. We're on like, yeah, like almost all prime time, damn near, it feels like. But um, yeah, I don't know. We'll see where baseball goes. I'm not a fan of like commissioner and all that. So I don't know. I do enjoy some of what baseball has changed though recently, so that's a good thing.
No, I definitely agree with you. I do like a lot of the changes they've made. So the Royals, they can compete with the Guardians. Bryce says. You heard it here first. The man thinks they're going to
Yes,
compete with them.
easily,
I think they can too.
easily.
I think
Nah,
they can too.
what do you,
Yeah.
yeah, easy. What do you mean?
I just wanted to get your
Yes,
take
that's
on that
easy.
because, yeah, there you go.
There's similarities in the like mysteriousness behind both teams.
Hmm.
Like I didn't realize Cleveland until I watched them. I was like, damn, they don't have no big names, but they're mysterious and they're good.
Yeah.
Royals, Salvi, Bobby, but hey, what do you know behind them? Oh damn, you have great fucking starting pitching. Yeah, fifth fifth best record in the MLB right now. I was like, man, I was like, don't sleep on the sleeping rotation. We get Cole Reagans tomorrow. Here we go. So let's
Hey,
finish the Mariners off. We're gonna start the Yankees right with Seth Lugo.
there you go. Hey, very true. 4 game set with the Yankees, straight into three
Yeah,
with the Dodgers next week. That's going to be
straight up.
the Royals have a tough stretch coming up the next week or so. And then
Go. Tell me.
right back to the Guardians at the end of the month. Here in Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's time
Yeah, that's
to.
what's
This
up.
is it. This is do or die. This is where it's at. So,
Yeah, the
yep.
rest of June, that's going to be
Man,
an
thanks
interesting
again
month for
though.
you guys.
It's about to be
Yeah,
fun, man. But like that's what I was saying kind of earlier. Like everybody's got to go through these stretches. I feel like because this is what makes you.
yeah.
So that's what I'm kind of excited for. It's exciting actually. I'm like really, really, really excited for this shit. So
No, absolutely. Well, that's what's up. Again, appreciate you stopping by the podcast this week, to get some baseball
sir.
talking and trying, like me and Bryce trying to get on a regular little track. So hopefully brighten up your
Yeah.
Sunday mornings with a little bit of baseball. And again, thank you for joining the show, and we'll see you next time, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me on. I was like, it's nice to always talk some baseball. So let's make this a little bit regular. We'll figure it out from here. So have a good night, man. Thank you.
Yeah, sounds good. Appreciate you. Again, appreciate Bryce jumping on the podcast with me to talk some baseball this week. Always fun to get into some baseball news and just kind of pick each other's brains on, where we feel the state of baseball is in 2024. A lot of changes, obviously, in the last few years, especially really since the COVID year. Baseball has really undertaken a huge kind of transition and trying to figure out how to navigate this, new world of things and, all that good stuff, trying to, make the game what it once was again and, make it as popular as it was back like in the 90s and, where baseball was with, just being America's pastime, just like a long baseball season, there's going to be ups and downs, right? So, again, appreciate you, Bryce, jumping on the podcast this week. And if you enjoy this Sunday morning baseball podcast, make sure you hit that like button. Rate the podcast wherever you're listening, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We are available as well as on the Papa Shro YouTube channel. And we are trying to get past that 100 subscriber mark again before the NFL season starts this year. At 78 right now, so hey, we made a little bit of progress. We got +1. So we just got 22 more to go. 22 more subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, you're locked in, you're watching, you're listening on the podcast, go over to YouTube, check out my YouTube page. Got plenty of film content, just Chiefs related, as well as the podcast and, plenty of other stuff to check out on the YouTube page. And you get to see my ugly mug every week or every time I post something. So go check that out over on YouTube if you haven't already. And until next time, we will see you next week to talk some more baseball.